morning from a brisky Edmonton, Alberta. It's a little cool out here today, and right there, a little brisk, but supposed to warm back up here in the next couple days again, which is kind of amazing this time of year here. Yeah, it's just the weekend, and just going to head out in the old wagon. We'll still drive this thing because the weather's still half decent. So just gonna head out and get myself a little breakfast here, get as much time in as I can in this beauty before it's got to go away for the winter, and I actually have to get that thing over there fixed. And I need the wheel bearing, typical Duramax front wheel bearing. So I get that done, and yeah, so just going to head for breakfast and figure out what I'm going to work on today. I think today's going to be a day of just working on some of my own junk, and instead of customer junk. So like I said before, so I can get my roadster ready for winter. It's when it's roadster weather. So yeah, so just gonna get some breakfast and then come home, figure out what we're gonna take on today. So stay tuned for what we're up to. Okay, time to get some work done here. I need to get that thing there put away. It's I think riding season's done, so just got it on the charger. Need to put a new battery in it, but yeah, I need to get that put away this week. But it's also supposed to be like 13 degrees Celsius here Wednesday and Thursday, so maybe I might get out for one more ride on it. We'll see. Roads aren't completely bitched yet. So yeah, just deciding on what to work on here today. I think I'm gonna work on my little Model T here a bit. Work on my own stuff there a little bit. I got one windshield mount down here. I still have to do the other one. I think I'm gonna drill some holes here for all this wiring mess I got going on everywhere. I like to drill the holes in the body before I still gotta do the seat base, but before I paint and prime the car. That way, if you miss with a hole, you can weld it back up. So I got, holes I got to put in here, so I can run wires through the frame and that up to the headlights, and same with tail lights. But like I said, I like to do it before I paint them, and then you can pull your panels hidden up in here. And that is where the panel's hidden. And that's just, I like to drill all your holes. Same as my throttle pedal. I've got it all mounted in here now. And that same thing, drill for your throttle cable. You're not gonna hook it up, but you have all your holes drilled and everything in here. So if you miss, you can weld them up. Yeah, she's a little dark in there, but if you miss, you can weld them up. And right there. And then because once the car's painted, it's kind of hard to fix all that stuff. So I like to do that before I paint the car, and then it's all in there. So it's a matter of just getting some little stuff done here. But yeah, it's day where I can screw around to my own project. Got the rad mounted in this one. Now the rad's all mounted up on this one. This one here is pretty well ready to come down and be put together on the floor, and then get the body mounted up on this thing. That on this one. So that's kind of the plan. But I think I'm gonna play with this Model T here for a bit, and that on my own junk, and we can get this thing closer so I can actually do something with this thing. This spaghetti western here of of wires that have kind of just been put everywhere. Got a door here that doesn't want to stay closed. So more or less, I got to start with sorting this mess all out and everything. Huh. Wow, these weird things here. Yeah, we don't need those instructions. What the hell are those for? We'll wait till we burn up a harness and we'll get those out. So, I've already roughly done where things go here, so now it's just a matter of sorting out what I have going on here. So we're not hooking anything up to motor, lights and stuff like that. We're just running things through the body. So when I do these, I like to run as much through the body as I can so the chassis looks as clean as possible. So that's just a matter of sorting out this mess of what I have going on. Excited alternator. So this is all engine stuff here. Here. We got here left low beam. So this here's all your left hand side. Here's your lights and your signal and everything. So that'll go over on your driver's side. I have this long mess of wiring here that I got wrapped around everything. Rear, so this is all your rear setup. So this will have your fuel gauge, your fuel pump if you run an electric fuel pump and everything. That's what this whole mess is here that is going on. So more or less just kind of straighten all this mess out and then tape it up and then figure out where you're running it through your body. So I got this wire here, which is in this pack. So what I've done here already, which you didn't see, is I laid this all out on a bench. Roughly figured out where everything goes and taped it up. That way you're not laying underneath the dash, standing on your head and everything else and trying to tape everything up. So roughly everything's already laid out where it's going into this car. So now it's just a matter of drilling holes and putting it up through here. So right now we're just gonna sort this mess out and figure out where we're running it and go from there, figure out where we're drilling holes in the body and into the chassis to get it to run. Okay, so now I sort of got the wiring all sorted and everything. So what I'm going to want to do is under the body here, I'll do it on both sides. This is the passenger side I'm on right now. I'll drill down through the floor to come into the top of the frame rail here, so it'll be all hidden. Then what I'll end up doing, so then you'll run it inside your frame rail. And if you look up here, you got your headlight mount and everything right here. You got electric fan wiring that's coming out here. So what I'll end up doing is I'll pop a hole for this side right in here. I'll end up popping a hole. And then you can bring your wiring, so now your wiring's gonna be hidden here to go to your fan. And then it'll come up through here. It's hard to hide it, but you'll get some nice wrap to wrap it and everything. And then comes up into here to your headlight. So you're not gonna have wiring hanging all over. It'll all be hidden nicely in the frame. So you can't see any of it. Nothing will be, all it'll be running up here will be brake lines eventually, and there got the union on it is actually over the other side, and then it'll come across your front here, come in and come into here. So you won't even have any brake lines that you'll be able to see running across is what'll end up happening. There's the back wiring there. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with it yet, whether I'm going to come through the middle of the body and then sort of come in this frame and come across, or whether to punch into here and then come into the frame here. What to do here, but like I said, with the brakes, the master cylinder underneath, which you saw before, then I'm going to bring up to a union here for the front into here. And actually, this needs to be turned around and that, but you got one brake line coming in and then two going out. So one's going to go to here, then the other one will come around the front of the frame rail, so you'll never see it, and then over to the other side. But I'll do the same thing here, pop a hole in the floor, and then come up into here drill a hole here so you can bring your wiring for this side's headlight, high beam, signal light over to here. Is what'll end up happening there, and then this will all be hidden, and then you can run your signal lights here, which are what these little lights are. Those little lights there, those are Harley lights. Is what those are. So then you'll be able to just run your wires up in through here, and they'll all be nicely hidden in through there. So I'm not really worried about all this up in here right now. The biggest thing right now is just getting everything in through your body. So we can get this body off, and then I can just finish welding up underneath on the floor and everything, and you start getting primer and all that. I still got to get door latches and stuff in it, but then it's just one step at a time here, and then start getting door latches and everything in it. So the other thing, we're going to have to poke a hole in the body to run the engine wiring. So with it, you got your starter and everything here. We got a Bluetooth starter right now here is what we have. So just imagine it being here. So it's a matter of figuring out where we're going to pop the hole here, where it'll be hidden. So looking up here, I'm probably going to pop the hole right in this area or so in the body, and then you'll be able to bring it up in here so you can't see it up in here and your trans and all that, and then up along the intake for like your alternator and everything, but you can't, your distributor, and you can't see it, and you got your sending units and all that. And then with it being here, you'll be able to sneak it in for your starter and things like that. But when you do this hole, remember, you got to figure out battery cables on where you're doing battery cables. I haven't figured that out yet, because you can't really, well, all the junk I have sitting here, but that's the battery box there in this car. That's where I mounted the battery, it was right there, and it's got one of those small Omni batteries in it, or Optimum batteries, sorry, and it is what that is. So if you look here, it's right there, you got your cables and everything coming out. So where I'm gonna run, whether I'm gonna run those in through the car or along the top of along the frame rail, I haven't decided yet. I'll probably run them in through the car and run them out, that way they're hidden. The frame rail all looks nice and clean when you look underneath. You know, if you can keep your frame rail looking like that, all nice and clean, just makes a better finished product. And especially the car being this low, you don't have to worry about ripping stuff out. So that's where we're at right now on this thing. So let's just lay some stuff out and figure out where we're drilling some holes. But like I said, I like to do it before you paint it. You know, some guys, oh, paint it first and then do it. And then, I don't know, if you pop and miss a hole and that, you're kind of stuck with that hole, because you can't really weld it up. And especially like the floor, you're going to put box liner on it, and trying to weld that shit up just sucks. So now you're into, you know, making a nice little patch panel to bolt in there to make it look half decent. So like I said, it's just easier to do it now, and then just take all your wiring, put it in a plastic bag, roll it up, and sort of throw it in there for when you're painting the car, and then you just run it all as soon as you're done. So final assembly actually goes a heck of a lot quicker. So that's just many ways to do things. That's just my personal opinion on how to do it. Okay, so with this being, it's just a universal wiring harness. And you heard me say earlier, I don't want to run wires outside this chassis and all that. So if you look here, the headlights are split. So if I leave it like this, you'd have to run it across your front cross member and everything up the front. So what I'm actually going to do is I am going to cut this here, leave the split, and I'm going to move it up to here. So the split's actually going to happen inside the car. So you can run down one side of the chassis and down the other side of the chassis, and that, so you can't see the wiring. Instead of, you'll end up having to go all the way up to the front. You'll end up having to cut this anyways, because it's going to be way too long, because it's made for a full-size car or whatever, not this little hot rod. So what I'm going to end up doing here is I'll just cut this here and cut up here where everything tees off, and then tee it off there is what I'm going to end up doing. So this here is your low beam, and then this one here is your high beam. So that's what I'm going to end up doing with these wires, and then I'll be able to run them up. And I'm not adding any splices to it, because the splices I have are the exact same splices that are in there already. So that's all we're going to do there. And then, yeah, then I'll be good. So I have butt connectors that have the solder and the heat shrink in them. And which is, when you're doing this, so you can get, you get different butt connectors. So, here, I'll use these red ones. So you got the ones here, these ones here. These ones got the solder in them with the heat shrink and the silicone. So when you put them on, you heat shrink them. These ones aren't going anywhere. They're weatherproof. They're sealed. You're good to go. Or you go and buy these cheap ass ones that are cheap. They're freaking garbage. They're going to cause you wiring issues later on in life. And they're not worth a damn. And don't even waste your time with these, because you're going to end up chasing wiring problems because of these stupid things. And you'll hate your life. And so don't even use them. I ended up with a kit. I don't even know where this kit came from. And honestly, I used the kit. The only thing worth any money in this kit is the carrying part of it, because these garbage. And don't save yourself a lot of freaking grief. It's no different than the ones that come in a lot of your kits, a lot of your fancy kits, especially the cheaper kits. They have those terrible ones. Don't use them. Go spend a couple bucks more. Buy these ones. It'll save you a lot of grief later on in life. And hey, your hot rod's worth a lot of money. You want to burn it up because you decide to save 35 cents on a freaking butt connector? That's absolutely freaking stupid.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Sunset fading, leaves are changing. Ooh, yeah. Summer's gone, but we're still dancing. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Sweater weather, chill together. Pumpkin spice on every corner. Ooh, yeah. Bonfire nights, starry lights. Hey, hey. Crunching leaves, moon so bright.
So we look right there. It's been crimped, it's been heat shrinked, it's soldered in there, so that thing isn't going anywhere. So after you crimp these, give them a pull. Pull those wires. The reason being, you want to make sure your crimp's good. So give them a tug. You'd rather have them pull out now and then recrimp them, do whatever you need to do. Another trick here, so if you look, because I had two wires coming into one side, one into the other side. What ends up happening on this one side, you can drive a bus through there because it's so big, and that on your one side, the whole that. So what I do is I strip off more than that, turn them so it's all nice and tight, fold that wire in half, so it's like having two wires, and then slide it in. Now you got a nice tight fit. So when you crimp that, it's full of wire. It crimps up nicer. That holds it better, because you need the one that's a bit bigger so you can get two wires in the other side. So actually what you're doing is you're putting two wires in here, but you're just folding it over is what you're doing. So the diameter of it ends up being the same as two wires. And like, I haven't crimped that one, but you can feel the restriction on that already. So that's just another trick I've done to keep these wires together so they don't pull apart. You don't get them crimped, because the other time what'll happen, they'll crimp, they'll bubble, and the wire is small and it'll come out. So that's sort of a little trick I've come up with. It works. I haven't had any issues. So yeah, just something to try when you're wiring up a car. Okay, so I got each side sort of taped up here. This side here, it's going down the passenger side. As you know, I just use masking tape because you're gonna end up ripping it off and all that as you go. This is just, you know, sort of roughly so you can keep it separated. So I haven't used it. Actually, I don't use electrical tape. I actually use, for all you Canadian people, and that I don't hockey tape. I end up using it sticks better than electrical tape, and especially if you're doing original stuff, like if you're doing restorations and that's what GM and them used a lot of times, is just a cloth tape. So that's actually what I've started using is electrical tape, or for electrical tape is black hockey tape. It seems to work better than electrical tape. It sticks better. So what I want to do here is I want to poke a hole. That's for the body mount that we put in. I want to poke a hole right in this area here, and then run the wires across like this, and then down into your frame. Problem being, if you do this, you're right in where your feet are going to sit in this car. Eventually, you're going to end up with a short and stuff. Like I said earlier, this is why I wire these cars up beforehand. Run all your wires and everything, because what I can do right now, if there's just a piece of scrap sheet metal, I can make a piece to go like this, and we can run right in through here, your wire under here over to here, you know, cut it right there, run it here, and then run it out. Now you don't have to worry about pushing on that with your foot, ending up with a short in there and everything, having to take carpet up and because you got a short in there. So this is why, like I said, I wire these cars up beforehand, and that run all your wires, run all your holes. Because once you do this, you can just, you know, we put a nice piece of rubber trim on here so it won't rub through here. You know, you're under your carpet. You're never gonna have to worry about this. Like, you're not gonna be in here at all with your feet rubbing or anything like that. So it's all run nice. Once your insulation carpet goes, you're fine. You don't have to worry about it. So this is the exact reason why. The other reason, there's times, and see, I can run the wire through here, through your center console, so you can't see it. But there's times where you're gonna want, you can run your wire down in through here. And what you do is get like a piece of conduit or something, you know, conduit weld, you know, round tubing, and you weld it along here, put it in here, run your wires through there, and run them up and out. And that, then once you get your carpet and everything, all looks nicely finished because it all comes nicely rounded. Don't have to worry about it. But that's why once you get, you know, once you undercoat the floor or put your box liner, you can't weld anymore because you're gonna bubble that. So that's why I do it all now before you get into paint and everything. It's just, it's so much easier and it looks so much better in the end. And you know, if you do screw up, which hey, unbelievably we all screw up at some point, it's easy to fix. It doesn't end up being a mess. So that's just, you know, the way I do it. So that's why. So I'll be welded. I'll weld one on this side. I'll also weld one on the other side to bring the wires over. Then end up popping the hole right here, right in there. But you'll end up going through the chassis, all your wiring there, and I run it up to the front. We got the hole drilled here, right there. So here's how it's gonna come. It's gonna run down through across your tunnel like this, down like this, and down in your frame, and then head up to the front. Now, when you drill the holes up there in your frame rail, you're eventually going to you're gonna drill. Don't drill them on the top. It's gonna happen if you drill them on the top, they're gonna fill with rain. If the car happens to, especially in the climate I'm in, you know, you sit in storage and the thing sits outside and it gets down below zero, all of a sudden you got water in that chassis, that's gonna freeze up on you. Next thing you know, you got a cracked frame rail. So when you drill holes in your chassis, try to go into the sides so they won't fill up with water. And that, if you do have to go into the top, make sure you seam seal them or something so water doesn't get in. And because if it does, and like I said, you put it in storage, you know, it's not heated storage, you're just storing the car. You're not worried about it come winter. If there's any water that's accumulated over the summer, you'll crack a frame rail. This is, speaking from experience, I did it, I happened to do it with a car trailer. And putting the deck on, didn't seal the holes up, and the trailer sat out one winter, and it cracked the one side rail, and that because the water froze up. So when you're putting your holes in, like I said, go into the sides if at all possible. Make sure they're sealed up. Try not to go into the top for that reason. So like I said, there's your wires there coming across the floor. Now I have made this fancy piece here. If you look, I put a little break in it, and that. What's going to happen with this piece, and I'll remove the wire before I do it, it's gonna end up going just like that. So now if you look, your wires, they come across here. What I'll end up doing is putting some nice, you know, insulation or whatever, something in here so it doesn't rub through, comes across here. So now when you put your insulation in for your carpet, you just make a little cutout here and put your carpet, you won't even notice it in there. But all your wiring now is all run nice, it's safe, you don't have to worry about it shorting out, because that's right where your feet are gonna rest, you're gonna be good. Up here, you know, you're not gonna get any rubbage up in here, like there's nothing, you know, no one's gonna have their feet up there. And so that's one side done. Like I said, once I pull the wire out, I'll weld that in. I do the other side over there, and then, you know, let's carry on with wiring. So that's more or less just sort of a quick little view of what we're doing. Like I said, there's the fuse panel there on this thing. So next I'll be, you know, popping holes in there to run, you know, the wires up to the starter and your alternator and everything up in there. So that's you know, sort of a quick view on what's happening here with the wiring, so I can get this body back off. So I hope everyone enjoyed what I have going on here, and you know, let's keep doing it, keep plugging away at this thing. It's sort of a weekend project. You know, when I have time, a little bit of free time and everything. So it's you know, it's coming along a little bit at a time here, and you know, I hope you like videos. Comment on stuff. If you see something, you know, comment on it. If you have better ideas, feel free to comment. I'm open. That's how we all learn. We you know, by teaching and by learning from other people. So if you got better ideas, you know, comment in the comment section, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So you know what, everyone have a great great day, and you know, get out there, build something cool, have a good time, and enjoy it. Doesn't matter what it is, just build something cool. Have a great day.